So, as some of you might know, I went to college in New York City. And New York City is pricey. Costs a lot of money to live in New York City. I mean, there's some ways to get by, but generally it is difficult. And by the time I got to senior year, cash was pretty thin. It was stretched, and I needed somewhere really, really cheap to live. I was on the hunt. And that sort of magical system of, well, I know this person and they know that person and they might know this person of the church did its magic. And I got in touch with a priest named Michael Perry. He's a Catholic priest in Brooklyn, and his giant Catholic church was right next door to a not giant Episcopal church. And he had a really, really big 3-story, I don't know, 8-bedroom rectory. And he was like, come live with us. You live in the Catholic rectory, we'll put you up. You can teach Sunday school at the Episcopal church and then take the train to go to your classes. And it's free. We won't charge you anything. But you do have to make it to Wednesday night dinner as much as you can. You have to make it to Wednesday night dinner. That was his only rule, other than just, be a generally good house guest. Okay. Seriously? Like, is this true? Can I live in this place, this comfortable house in New York City for free by just coming to dinner? No way. There's no way this is true. This is like a test. This is some kind of interrogate. Like, people from the church are going to be there. Like, what do they need from me? What is this? Now, I didn't grow up with big family. I grew up with family dinner, but I'm an only child, so it was 3 of us around the family table. We didn't really have a lot of people over all the time. I lived far from all my friends, so I wasn't used to just big dinners all the time. In our gospel reading today, Jesus finds himself at a dinner where he's being watched for sure. He's being tested, he's being interrogated, he's being like, hey, who is this guy? How can we get him? And he shows up and gives some practical advice about, not being embarrassed at a wedding feast. But then he has some other advice. And to understand his other advice, we need to understand what dinner was in this time and place. Dinner was not just a meal in the ancient Eastern Mediterranean world. It was the big social event. It was full of traditions and rules, spoken and unspoken. It was how you climbed the social ladder. You invited someone to your house who was higher status than you. They would come, hopefully be impressed by the food and the conversation and the entertainment you provided. And then they would invite you to their next dinner. And then you would go and hopefully impress them and meet more people who are higher status than them to invite you, to invite them, to invite you, to invite them. And then everyone gets to sort of use each other as a tool to climb the social ladder. And that's what dinner was for the most part, especially for upper class people like these very educated Pharisees. And so that's the kind of dinner Jesus shows up to. A dinner where there aren't actually guests. There's just kind of potential, what can I get out of this person, tools. So I show up to this first Wednesday night dinner, not really sure what I'm going to encounter. And I walk into the kitchen, normal size kitchen, normal size kind of 6 to 8 person extendable kitchen table. And I was like, are we going to eat here? I thought there was a lot of people coming tonight. He's like, oh, Father Perry's like, we'll be fine. We'll make room. And then Bill walks in. Bill was a member of the parish, local, maybe lived a few blocks away. But Bill didn't come to church. Bill had a really significant grief in his life a few years before that really complicated his relationship with God. In fact, he was pretty angry at God. So he didn't come to church, but he loved to cook. And he loved Father Perry. And he loved Wednesday night dinner. So he would prepare a huge main every week, carry it down the street, and come, and he'd be the first one to arrive. So Bill comes in, And then sisters Cecilia and Greta come in from the day of doing the Lord's work as nuns out in the city. Amanda came in, who's a local architect, and she would always bring an elaborate dessert that was just the most beautiful thing you ever saw. And then Arina and Igor came in, a local couple from Ukraine who were refugees at that point, and they brought the best thing they could have possibly brought, which was their 1-year-old son, who was just like bubbly and the life of the party. And as more and more and more people came, Father Perry was right. We just like kept shoving chairs around this tiny table, and it wasn't for lack of space. We had a giant dining room next door. He just really believed that if we moved into the big dining room, we wouldn't be as close together anymore. We don't use the big dining room. We get everybody around this table first. And as dinner unfolds, I realize they don't want anything from me. Maybe it was the few years I had spent in New York up until that moment that really sort of hardened me. But they don't want anything. They just want me. They just want me to show up so that we can chat and eat food and argue sometimes and talk about our week and do it over and over and over again. And in doing that, we could experience just a taste of heaven together. Jesus shows up to this dinner and he leans over to the host and he's like, hey, when you have a dinner or a luncheon, don't do it like you've been doing it like everyone else does it. Don't invite people who you just hope to get another invitation from. Invite someone just to invite them. Invite someone just to give them the gift of your hospitality and to receive the gift of them. Do that. Then you'll be blessed. Throughout Luke, Jesus uses the same image over and over and over again for what heaven, what the reign of God looks like. And it's a dinner table. Over and over again, Jesus comes back to this image of the dinner table as what it's all about. And so it's no surprise that a few chapters later in the gospel, he would inaugurate this new community. He would found this new community of himself around a holy table, around a meal that could never be repaid, his own self, a meal that he did and does and will always invite us and everyone to. So, sometime this week or soon, whenever you can, maybe consider inviting someone over for dinner who you haven't had dinner with yet. Just enjoy them. Enjoy the dinner. Enjoy each other. Enjoy that taste of heaven. Better yet, maybe even just accept an invitation that someone gives you. And keep accepting the invitation to come to this meal, to this table, where its host does not desire repayment or anything from us, but us. This host desires you. So just come and enjoy it. Amen.